microphone. Yes, I do. Yo, what's up, fam? All right, hold up here. Let's get this shit popping. Damn, it's that live fucking stream right there. Okay, so I set the topic. Da 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 da. Wait. What? Hold up. Why is it so? Okay, it's not that quiet. Just my ears is on wrong. Did I turn off the check 1 2? Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Oh yeah, I'm hearing like a weird. Oh, I know what that is. Hold up. I'll be right back. I'm gonna do a little bit of plugging and unplugging because we got a ground loop somewhere in this shit. I think you can hear it right there. You know what I'm talking about? That bzzz, bzzz. Hold on, I know how to fix this shit. One sec. So by now, your fucking microphone should be. God damn. Check. Yeah. Okay, that fixed that problem. But then we got one more problem. God damn. Every goddamn morning, I got them technical difficulties. Check. Yes, that sounds so much better. Love not having that bullshit. Bzz, 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 bzz. Maybe y'all can't even hear it there. All right, what do we got here? Let me get my chat pumping in this motherfucker right here. This is morning number 18, because we're not counting that first moment where I went off the rails and dropped all those hard R's and everything, and started ranting about the international bankers. We're not going there. We're gonna do. So yeah, hey, what's up? I'm Zach ZYZ. This is my stream right here. Every day for the last 18 days, every single day, we've been editing this novel, GRAVID, which is my 8th novel. I just linked a bunch of people on the hip hop Discord, so I got to go through all this shit again. So somebody just asked me in the hip hop Discord, why am I streaming on YouTube over Twitch? Actually, you can go to Twitch too. It's simulcasting to Twitch, Facebook, Periscope, DLive, Mixer, and YouTube. So you can use whatever platform you fucking feel like. Just most people seem to prefer YouTube. I think their CDN, that's their content delivery network, is a little bit better than Twitch's. The main reason why people like Twitch is there are more emojis that you can spam. And it's not like really an emoji spamming stream. And my audience would just fucking spam try hard all day long. So so this story is my 8th novel. It's called GRAVID. It's about a young woman who becomes very depressed after the death of her father, and she tries to kill herself by drowning herself in a river. But as she's leaning up on the rocks, trying to find the courage to jump on in there, behind her crashes down a meteorite from outer fucking space, and she's so startled that she jumps in the river anyway. Well, she swims out, right? But she becomes very interested. What's this meteorite all about? And it turns out that there's something very special about this meteorite. We're going to find it out here. But yeah, this girl is like getting bullied at her school. All of her friends have moved away. She's in a giant fucking fight with her mom. Her dad is dead. Her freestyle is whack. Like it's lots of problems that they have right there. So it's kind of like a Purple Rain, 8 Mile type story for these entitled white millennials. All right. What do we got there? So I'm a little bit antsy. We like to open up every morning reading a little bit out of a book of poetry by my boy Charles Baudelaire. What do we got right here? what is she spitting here? Hold on. I gotta. She do be spitting bars though. Does she really? I guess so. I can't remember. Actually, we get into some music shit later in the book, right? There's been a little bit of stuff about her guitar play. But what? Check 1 2. Check 1 2. What book are we going to get at? Artist Unknown by Charles Baudelaire. Flesh is willing, but the soul requires Sisyphean patience for its song. Time, Hippocrates remarked, is short and art is long. No illustrious tombstones ornament the lonely churchyard where I often go to hear my heart, a muffled drum, parade incognito. Many a gem, the poet mourns, abides forgotten in the dust, unnoticed there. Many a rose regretfully confides the secret of its air, or the secret of its scent to empty air. We read this fucking poem 2 days ago. And then I forgot that I had read it or whatever. All right, so there's that. Then this morning we're drinking this La Colombe cold brew. Honestly, I've liked this the best out of all the... We've been drinking like a different kind of coffee every morning. And we've had this a couple times, and it's pretty fucking solid. But there it is, right there. So, yeah, let me get down to it. So, yeah, basically the practice is that I'm going to read each line of text, and then if you would like to, feel free to make a comment if you see like extra commas or a bunch of swastikas in there that I didn't mean to have. Or if just anything doesn't make sense or it doesn't track, or you know for a fact that something is wrong, like something is not true, like that's not the way police handcuff you, or, you know, actually like a 4-stroke engine works like this, and so forth. Like, because I can't know everything that's in this book. There's so many things in this book, and I'm sure that I got some of them wrong. And part of editing is having another set of eyes on your shit so you can find out things that you wouldn't know normally. You learn a lot while you're writing. Like I didn't know a few days ago what the OSI protocol stack was, and now I have an idea of what that is. So Steely is saying, is that Anne Frank on your shirt? It could be. It says Future Corpses of America, and I think it's meant to be a diss on the Future Leaders of America, which was this Republican organization in the time of, I think, your boy Ronatello Reagan. Ronald Reagan, zap. So this shirt is like a, I think it's meant to be like a punk rock twist on it. I don't know. I've had it fucking forever. I'm sure that maybe it's just like, let's find out what the fuck this is. I think it's just a shirt. Yeah, it's just a t-shirt that you can get from, yeah, so they still sell this shirt. Maybe I should get another one. The world's largest social club and lobbying group, the AARP, aka the Future Corpses of America. Hell yeah. Oh, I can love that. All right, let me get shout outs to Anne Frank though, who's so there's some, I don't want to get too conspiratorial, but some significant editing was done on that diary. And I'm not sure, like there's an Anne Frank museum in Amsterdam. I haven't visited it, but there's some controversy as to how much of that diary was just her dad making shit up. And like there's the obvious like Anne Frank jokes. There are like so many of them. But yeah, like I've heard a little bit to indicate that thing might not be the genuine article. But anytime you get into questioning anything that happened in regards to the Holocaust, you're on like shaky fucking territory. Just FYI, Holocaust probably happened. I just want to get my official position out there. There's my favorite book on the Holocaust is oh shit. So Cody I think it's McStrawwick has actually been to the Anne Frank Museum, but he doesn't remember shit about it. It's probably because you were in Amsterdam and you were baked as fuck the entire time. Hell yeah. But my favorite book about the Holocaust is actually about the SS. It's called The Masters of Death, and it's a little bit of a psychological examination of how normal men can get into a situation where they're just like these bloodthirsty fiends murdering people left and right. Because the SS, they weren't really like these super soldiers or any shit like that. They were just the guys that would do the dirt, like the wet work, and they slowly went insane as a result of the atrocities that they were committing. Because you would always have that, you would always have like that one dude in the unit who takes shit like way too far, like past platoon too far, and then everybody else is kind of like looking around. And it's like, yeah, I guess we can bayonet their corpses and fuck the holes. I guess if that's what we're doing, okay. And the book is a lot about how people go along with that kind of shit. As opposed to the Japanese army, where apparently everybody was just fucking crazy in the Japanese army. Shout out to Nanking. What the fuck? Shit was real. Anyhow, our book does not include war crimes yet. So let's get to it there. So this is the second dream scene that we have here. We're going to do a bunch of work on this chapter, mainly because dream scenes are usually a mistake. I would say for most writers. It's just people kind of let their hair down. It's like, oh, it's a dream. It's so mystical. But if you think about it, how much do you like hearing about your friends' dreams? Sorry, I'm just listening for the crickets. Nobody likes hearing about their friends' fucking dreams because they have all this emotional significance for the person, right? But they have zero significance for anybody else, right? Nobody else understands like the weird connotations of your fucking dreams. There's no like mystical significance for them. They're just boring. Like never tell somebody about your dreams unless they're in it and it's a sex dream. And then tell them about it immediately. Like call up your boss and be like, yo, I dreamed I was butt fucking you on top of the Brooklyn Bridge and the sky turned green and God winked at me and then I hit a dab. Yeah, like your boss would love to know all about that right there. Not a real dream that I had. But who knows? Anything could fucking happen. Yo, it's, by the way, it's Festivus today. If I can, everybody should be out there. I think December 23rd is Festivus. So, yeah, we're gonna hook up the aluminum pole, air some grievances, and wrestle. Hell yeah. All right. That's more than enough preamble for any one audience right there. Thank you for bearing with me through that bullshit right there. So this is chapter 25. All right, so chapter 25. The streets were slick and the tires of her bicycle spat against the asphalt. They fizzled to a stop on the side of the Thoreau Bridge, and the perspective was all wrong. The bridge sprawled on for miles and miles. Oh yeah, this is no good. Another dream. Okay, so right away, I actually let's not break there, but let me kill one more potential source of interference. Check. Yeah, I can just barely hear it there. I'll figure it out one way or the other. All right, so the streets were slick and the tires of her bicycle spat against the asphalt. They fizzled to a stop at the side of the Thoreau Bridge and she looked over. Another dream. Up on Melancholy Hill, there's a plastic tree. Or, I think that was just Plastic Beach. Shout out to, that's my favorite, absolute favorite Gorillaz song. Hell yeah. Oh shit, I'm missing out on the Discord chat. They're talking about racist alt-right trolls. I could get in this. I have opinions. We gotta edit though. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. The streets were slick, and the tires of her bicycle spat against the asphalt. They fizzled to a stop at the side of the Thoreau Bridge, and Freya looked over the edge. The perspective was all wrong. Overnight, the bridge had grown far longer. It stretched out for miles now. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm. As long as she understood it was just a dream, she could let it happen. Freya turned back, but the way she'd come... there we go. but the way she'd come was impossibly distant, disappearing into a shimmering mirage. It was a relief to know that it was all gone and there was no way back. She never wanted to return. Freya leaned over the guardrail, and beneath the seawater was a churning froth of turquoise and white foam. For an instant, she thought she saw a body drifting past, but as she leaned forward to see, she felt herself tilting over the edge. Okay. The sea was rising up to the pylons now. Let's see. Hmm. Mm-hmm. At once she knew the tide would not stop. The new sea would rise and spill over the sides of the causeway. If she stayed here, it would drag her under. There were gulls crying overhead, but when she looked up, there was no sky, just an empty black void. Hmm. 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 I wanted to say like a spiral like the Tower of Babel, but I mean, that's a little bit pat there. Every time I think of the Tower of Babel, I think of this one level from Super Ghouls and Ghosts. You know what I'm fucking talking about? Where you're just spiraling up this tower. Shout outs to the golden armor and the daggers. That was my shit right there. I fucking love that game, man. That's just one of my absolute favorite. The music, just everything about that game. The levels with like the raft and everything. So fucking dope. Anyhow, this is not that. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. No. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, there's big logic up there in the chat. Logic, we're trying to make some sense of this fucking horseshit dream scene right here. God. Why do I write dream scenes? They're like so. I think this is the only one in the. Maybe there. No, there's maybe one or two more in the book. Yeah, I feel like we should just rewrite the chapter. All right, let's start back at the beginning here. Yeah, I'm not satisfied with how this is going. The streets were slick, and the tires of her bicycle spat against the asphalt. They fizzled to a stop at the side of the Thoreau Bridge, and Freya looked over the edge. Hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Oh, so Logic is interested to see how we do dream scenes. Yeah, so like we need to attach some emotional import to this. I don't know. Like I just why did I include dream scenes? I know that they're always a mistake. Like every time a dream sequence comes on in like The Sopranos or something, you're like, here we go again. This fucking bullshit. They're just so indulgent, like self-indulgent. But I don't know. I think in this particular case, I think like a big part of being like 14 to 16 or whatever is like you're just full of weird fucking sex dreams. And it's also a situation where she's suffering from significant insomnia. And the railroad bridge had collapsed. This is a dream. All right. Another song lyric that I'm like super fond of is your boy Bus Driver from that album The Weather with Daedalus and Radio Inactive. That's one of my favorite like weird hip hop albums of all times. All times. Mm-hmm. All right, let's try this paragraph again. The streets were slick, and the tires of her bicycle spat against the asphalt. They fizzled to a stop at the side of the Thoreau River Bridge. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is a little bit cleaner here. So yeah, when you're doing like a dream sequence or reality is faltered or reality is fractured or whatever, it becomes increasingly important that your language is clear. Did I say increasingly important? Fuck, I gotta lay off that whiskey. It becomes increasingly important that yeah, I think we actually used that a little bit earlier. We talk about the sound of her tires a little bit earlier when she in the scene where she goes to the river, and I describe it as like a paint roller. Have you ever like heard the sound that a paint roller makes? Oh my god. Um, but let's see. No, but anyhow, yeah, when you're trying to sort of suspend reality or whatever, the necessity of having like a clear understanding of what's going on is so much more important. Like the language has to be like so much more precise. So we might spend all morning working on this one dream scene to kind of whip it into shape. Because like right now, I can tell you, like as a reader, you're like, I don't really understand what the fuck is going on. And as soon as the reader doesn't really understand what's going on, flip, or maybe they even just put down your book. Most people at this point, 100 and some odd pages through, they're going to power through a bad chapter, but there's no reason to make that happen. If we can make it into a chapter where it's clear, like first I want to establish that this is a dream, like within the first paragraph. And I want to change the drama to being like she should be able to wake up from it. Actually, how to wake up from a dream. Call out for help. It said that yelling in your dream, reality testing, wake back to bed, mnemonic induction of how to wake up. Fall asleep in your dream so that you wake up in real life, repeatedly blinking, call out for help, or try to read a book. Okay. Yeah, like I don't know. Stuff on my walls. Is he talking about plastering the walls of his apartment with cum? I have no idea. Anyhow, knocking pictures off the walls with the output of my balls. Yeah. Real talk. All right, what do we got here? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's try this paragraph one more again. The streets were slick, and the tires of our bicycles spat against the asphalt and fizzled to a stop at the side of the Thoreau Bridge. The railroad bridge had collapsed in the night. The old railroad bridge had collapsed in the night. Black steel pylons jutted from the river like teeth. So there are two bridges here. There's like a modern concrete span, and then there is a an old railroad bridge that was running along it there. And I want to make sure it's clear that there are two bridges. So Mm. Let me see. Let me see. Whenever I realize it's a dream, I wake up soon after. Maybe she could realize it's a dream, wake up, then describe falling back asleep. Then you could do the dream with unbelievable descriptions as kind of cutscenes, or maybe that's stupid. I mean, like nothing stupid. You know, any ideas worth considering right there. I think what we're going to try to do in this dream sequence is I want, when she first realizes that it's a dream, I want her to try to wake up and then not be able to. Like I want to change the drama of this situation into being she's not able to wake up from this dream. And increasingly, like I want to change like some of the of what's happening here, like this insomnia and so forth, to include aspects of like sleep paralysis. Because at this point, she's getting pretty deep into insomnia. Like she's getting less than 3 hours of sleep every night, and she's slowly coming apart. And this is just part of like breaking this character down a little bit so that we can build her back up. But yeah, I want to get to, I want the, when we're rewriting this chapter right now, and I want part of the dramatic tension to be she's trying to wake up and she can't. So... Mm. Mm. Man, there's something weird about looking back in a dream. I can't put my, I know there's some like weird feeling about it. There's not like that feeling when you're high, you know, where you're like high and you're like, you know, where you feel like that shuddering sense of like time stretching out. But something about looking backward in a dream is weird, and I can't remember exactly what it is. Mm. Marxist.org. Looking backwards is a utopian novel discussing the advantages of socialism. Oh, damn. Like the edges of perception are way more blurred or fuzzy. Things are grayed out where they shouldn't be. I don't know. You know, I do not remember like a lot of my dreams. Um, I wonder if there's anything I can do. Although I'm on a diet at the moment right here. Like you can see at the top 220. That's what I weigh right now. Day 18 to 220. So I'm going to update that every day, and I'm going to keep like a calorie log or whatever there. Reality seems to fill our perception bandwidth 100% or so, but in a dream, it's never fully realized. Yeah, I will tell you that. Like things are like kind of grayed out and so forth. It is like we're running like a low polygon, like somebody set the graphics to low because you don't have your full processor working there. Hell yeah. I mean, shit, I haven't done anything yet. That's just like yesterday. I did like the first day of keto or whatever there. But yeah, I would like to, by the time this book is done, that's going to be about 3 months there. I would like to be around 200 pounds. So I'll probably make it to like 205 or so if I stick relatively with it, but I don't have to go to any more holiday parties or whatever. So I'm happy about it. So Freya felt like she was being followed, but she was afraid to look behind her. She was afraid to look back. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, let's not do that. No, I don't like the like extended language there. How do you spell Lake Pontchartrain? There's an R. That's what I missed. Pontchartrain. Oh shit! It's Big Meep Sheep and Spathywah have joined the battle. Welcome, gents. Thank you so much for tuning in to this motherfucker. Pontchartrain. So if you, I'm from New Orleans, right there, and we all call it Pontchartrain. Like that's just how we say it there. So, but they say everything wrong in New Orleans. Like they call Burgundy Street Burgundy, and there's just anything you just like look at the laziest possible way that you can say it, and that's how New Orleans folks will say it there. But shout outs to beekeeper channels on YouTube. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. No, Freya realized this is a dream. I like that a little bit better. Yeah, they literally cannot even pronounce New Orleans. Not at all. Like nothing. I saw somebody linked something recently. It was like a Baltimore accent test where they said Aaron earned an iron, an oiled iron, or Aaron earned oil iron, or something like that. And then they just said like earn, you know, like it's legit. But shout outs to Bodymore, right there, lit up with the Fent. No, Freya realized this is a dream. Mm-hmm. Hmm. American shibboleths. Classic country crunchy cactus. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If this was a dream, she could just wake up. Freya tried to open her eyes, but they were already open. If this was a dream, then she could just wake up. Freya tried to open her eyes, but they were already open. Sit up, she thought, but nothing happened. She tried pinching herself, but her hands were too weak. Okay, yeah, I like where this is going already. So we're just turning it into more of like a nightmare type scenario. Shout out to Chrono for voicing everybody in the chat real quick. Okay, I need more coffee because this is just not quite doing it for me. I'm gonna grab another can. I shall return. Yeah, I'm really trying to break on through to the other side in this one here. Mm. 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 So nightmares summon fear in me that I don't feel much anymore. I almost always wake up as soon as I feel it, since I realize it's a dream. I hate that feeling. I can't shake it for a while sometimes. Yeah, man. It's like something, like a feeling like we're brushing up against some weird edge of reality or something. I think everybody has like the instinctual understanding that it is possible to get trapped in a dream and never wake up. There's plenty of people that just go to sleep and they just fucking die. You just have like a massive stroke or an aneurysm in the middle of the night. It could happen to you at any time. And you just wake up in hell. And that's how it's going to be forever there. Just nightmare eternally. Hell yeah. Mm. Real talk. So I'm watching the people scrapping on IRC in the background. Fucking love it right there. Mm, no, it's not good. Yeah, what do I want? I want like that feeling, you know, where you're just about to start having a bad trip. Uh, yeah, me rarely has nightmares because he's high so much that I'm sure that he almost never dreams. Let me see. Hmm. Most of my dreams just take place in this made up city in the mountains, the city of Lomas Turbis. Amazing. Is Meep on like some if you build it, they will come type shit with Anime Island? That's amazing. Hmm. Yeah, it's a real fucking shame. Uh that this character has never even smoked pot. She's never done acid or anything like that. So we can't have we can't use the I'm about to have a bad trip feeling with her. Uh, so Cam recently had a dream where someone handed him back all the VHS tapes that he gave to him. It's fucking amazing, mate. I love that you're like dreaming about LRH shit. Yeah, like for the rest of us, we just get to see it happen on the screen. But Meep is down there in the trenches, like having these weird and awkward experiences. I do want to do that sacred waterfall idea that I was talking about at some point there. I think that would be fucking amazing, man. Oh, okay. Somebody remind me. I need to fix the LRH green screen before next week or before Friday. But what do we got here? Oh no. Freya could feel her insides tightening. Someone was twisting her pegs. As her heart began to race, the out. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Like a Home Depot gift card for meat. That would be amazing. Yeah, I think the waterfall is we normally don't do shit like that. Usually it's all 100%. You know what I'm talking about? But I think the waterfall is an idea that everybody will appreciate and enjoy. I don't know if you can get up there to feed the majestic river that will feed the waterfall, but we'll have to see. Uh, Oh, awesome. Yeah, I mean, if we can do that this week, that would be pretty fucking amazing. Actually, I just realized I don't know how our days work out. So the 25th is Wednesday. So that's going to be, I guess, the 30th will be, so Friday's going to be the 27th. Okay, we can do that. All right, I'm down with that. But yeah, let's work something out there. I'd like to do a few new things this week. Mm. Oh, he's going to be with family this Friday. We'll see. Can props head down for the show, or we could just do it in fucking Boulder or whatever. If you want to get really crazy with it, Meep, um, like I know that your family is staying at an Airbnb for the holidays. We could just have them come to your family's Airbnb, and oh, now it's the timing's not good because normally it would be funny to see somebody's family reacting to crazy Craigslist people coming all the time, but now is not the time. I fully understand that, but yeah, there's not really anything in Park County. Okay, but so one thing that we want to do at some point is just have like a whole crew of people who are not in on the joke and get their reactions from inside. Fuck. You want to get the reactions from inside, the reactions from outside. Just like, why is this happening? Hell yeah. Oh, apparently the death isn't on their side. All right, well, never you mind them. Okay. I mean, death is on everybody's side, by the way. Death always has your back. One idea I had was organizing a party and inviting hella college kids, then have people show up. I think that's fucking fantastic. Then invite them to join the party, man. Have like some beer and shit there. Cactus everybody up. Like I want these people to have a good time. That's the thing that's missing from this whole thing. I want them to enjoy themselves. Like even if they're like not finding exactly what they want, I want it to be a lesson in you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you get what you need. Hell yeah. And we just got to give these people what they need. Can't just want people to party with. Amazing. It'll be like a mini Lobus Turbis. Well, why don't we call it the Lobus Turbis party? You know, like or something like that. Let's make it fucking happen. We can brand this shit like the Lomas Turbis rave. Hell yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. Dig up some raw turquoise this week to give to the people. uh, uh, yeah, just be careful, like you don't run afoul of those drug laws where if you have like something that looks like a drug, you can be charged as if you have the drug. Because I was like, give somebody a bunch of blue Drano crystals that look like meth, but just be really careful. We want to stay on the right side of the law here. That would be funny as fuck though. But mm-hmm. All right, so let's read what we've done here. The streets were slick, and the tires of her bicycle spat against the asphalt as she came to the center of Thoreau Bridge. The old railroad bridge that ran parallel to it had collapsed in the night. Twisted pylons of black steel jutted from the river like teeth. Something was wrong. Freya felt like she was being followed, but she was afraid to look back. The man in the Acura would be there, waiting for her. She turned her head, and the bridge was empty. Freya felt like she was being followed, but she was afraid to look back. The man in the Acura would be there, waiting for her. But when she found the courage to look behind her, the bridge was empty. When she found the courage to look behind her, the bridge was empty. The wet span of concrete continued for miles, vanishing into the horizon. Has she really come that far? It seemed impossible she had biked so far. No, Freya realized. This is a dream. If this was a dream, then she could just wake up. Freya tried to open her eyes, but they were already open. Sit up, she thought, but nothing happened. She tried pinching herself, but everything was numb. She tried to shout for help, but she had no voice. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fucking turquoise. I'm sad that we keep doing or that people keep doing the same shit over and over again. You know, like I want new things. Like I miss, like for me, a big part of the fun of this is like having new angles. You know what I mean? Like shit that I've never done before. And like, like people kept doing that hearse thing. And after a while, it's just like, like I've covered like every wrinkle that we can do of this. Like a big part of it. So I'll tell you that, like, from my understanding, a big part of what makes that gimmick fun is being put on the spot and having to justify a weird position, right? That's one of the best things in improv. Being forced to justify something that doesn't make any sense. And those situations are almost always funny, right? Something about people making excuses is like always fucking hilarious. Because, I mean, it's the best situation is if you come up with a great explanation. It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of neat or whatever. But if you fuck it up, it's like the comedy is inherent in like getting caught in an obvious lie. So you really can't lose when you're coming up with a baffling justification. But like everything has to be fresh. No, Freya realized, this is a dream. Finally, she tried to call for help, but she had no voice. Freya could feel her insides tightening. Someone was twisting her pegs. That should be a simile. Like someone was twisting her pegs. Her heart began to race, and all the outlines were going... If she kept fighting the dream, everything would turn to razors and slice her apart. Freya wanted out. She moved up to the guardrail and prepared to leap into the river. But when she looked down, the Silas had risen, spilling over its banks. The steel teeth had disappeared beneath the black water. If she jumped, she might get impaled. Looking upriver, she could see the woods were flooded like a cypress swamps. The hills above them had been swallowed. The hills surrounding them had been swallowed. The farther she looked, the higher the water had risen. Everything was sinking into a vast and sprawling sea. She needed to get to high ground. There were gulls crying overhead, but when she looked up, the sky was just an empty black void, with storm clouds wheeling around the horizon. Now, Cam at the Duke statue on the beach in Waikiki. Yeah, I mean the show would benefit so much from having like a static camera that's at like a business, right? Like some kind of all night business or something like that, where the employees are in on the joke. That's always been the dream, like a diner or a fucking McDonald's or so many spots where it could just be amazing. And really, like a lot of it is internet permitting and some other stuff, but. Mm-hmm. She looked up and there was darkness at noon. The sky was an empty hole above her. This is a dream. This is a dream. All right, that's better. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. So Panda from Mars wanted to ask, how long did it take you to write this novel from the conception of the idea to the last word? Well, we don't know yet because we still have to. The novel is not finished writing until I finish this edit, which is scheduled to happen hopefully sometime before March 2020. And then an editor will get to it, and we'll probably have 7 additional edits. The subsequent edits won't be as bad, but there will be more rewriting and more changes and so forth. So we might not, depending on whether or not I have to hire an editor or if a publisher picks this up, this might not be done until like 2021, 2022, or whatever there. In terms of writing the bulk of the novel for the first draft, so this began actually in November 1st, 2016. And I know this because it began as like a NaNoWriMo story. And it's just basically like everybody at the coffee shop that I write at was doing NaNoWriMo, and they're like, "Oh, Zach, you should do some of this, like it'll be fun." And I'm like, "Nah, you guys don't want me and your fucking NaNoWriMo, that's not even fair." They're like, "No, no, come on, what are you, chicken or whatever?" There, I'm like, "All right, motherfuckers." Because I know for a fact that I write every single day. I have a voluminous and like kind of ridiculous output. And I know that people who write at a coffee shop do not have, for the most part, that discipline. So yeah, like by day 10, I had fucking buried everybody else at the NaNoWriMo. They were all gone. And it's just like me sitting, tapping this very sad story. And like at day 10, I was like, this story is making me fucking depressed. I want to write about wizards and fucking massage parlors in Albuquerque and stuff like that. So I took a look at the story and I just dropped it. But then for the next year, maybe 2 years, every time I was feeling like sad or depressed, I would come back to this story. It became my rainy day project. And then about a year ago, I looked at the story and I'm like, this is actually pretty fucking decent. Like this is actually like I have something here. So I spent most of the next year working on this almost exclusively, trying to finish it. And then I finally did. And now we're working on the editing, and I have never done an editing project like this before. I've fooled around a little bit with like live streaming writing, but I've never done one where we've like read each chapter aloud, where I've had like audience participation, which has been really helpful for me, and where I've really put so much effort into editing something. Because usually I just kind of like schlock through it and I'm like, let them fucking fix it. But in this case, I'm doing like a lot of extra work on this novel, and I'm hopeful that it will make it a better novel. Yeah, they goaded me into doing NaNoWriMo, and I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that I was going to bury these nerds. It's just, they don't, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you're a guy at a boxing gym and every day you're there and like hitting the bags and like doing the push-ups and everything, and you know that you're there every day and you see who's there every day, and like some guy comes up to you and is like, oh, join this like tournament or whatever. And you're like, nah, you don't want me. You don't want me in your tournament, But yeah, it was like very much kind of like that. Knocking motherfuckers out the block. So anyhow, that took about 3 years. And normally writing something that's novel length will take between 2 and 4 years. Like Xana and Ink definitely took me about, I think 3 years to execute there. Most of the other stuff that I've published has been shorter. But yeah, Rapasaurus definitely took about 3 years to write. And yeah, like so this editing part is totally new for me here, and it's going to add, we're going to spend like 3 months on this thing. We started doing this edit on December 1st, I want to say, and yeah, as you can see up here, 12/1. Oh, we can't see it because there's a blocker, but yeah, this edit started on December 1st, and let me see. So if the average time to write a novel is around 2 years, can you comment on the output for somebody like Stephen King? Okay, so there are a few people on the earth who have been incredibly prolific. Stephen King is one of them. Isaac Asimov is one of them. A writer like John Grisham is one of them. So for Stephen King's case, during a lot of the time where he was like all coked out and everything, he had ghostwriters fooling around with him. And a lot of these authors that you'll see that are putting out like a new book every year, they either have ghostwriters working with them, or they have like such an extensive research and outlining staff that they're essentially ghostwriting in all but name. But a lot of people, the ones like Stephen King and so forth, those people sit down and they have 8 hours a day where they can just write. Right? I'm not able to write for 8 hours a day. I think after about 2 or 3 hours, I'm done. I'm like out of mana, and I need to recharge before I can get good work done. So there's that aspect of it. There are people like Robert Silverberg who are very workhorse-like, and they're able to just continually work. They'll put in an 8 or a 10-hour day, and that's how they're wired. So those people put out like a lot more books. Because if you think about it, if I'm working 2 hours a day and somebody's working 8 hours a day, it's going to take me 4 times as long as them to do it. I have to work a regular job. Also, some of these people who are able to support themselves professionally writing have the liberty to just write all day, every day, which I would love to have. But I don't make that kind of money off of writing, not even close. Writing costs me money at this point. So yeah, that's pretty much the commentary there. And nothing against Stephen King. He's much more successful than I am. But he is not trying as hard at this point. He's kind of coasting on a lot of these, and he deserves to coast, right? He spent years and years getting good at doing this, but I guarantee like there was not like the same level of like it being important and caring, because like he doesn't have to knock it out of the park. It doesn't have to be fucking fantastic. People are going to buy his books, right? Whereas if I don't put out like the absolute best thing that I can, because I haven't sold like a ton of books, nobody's going to give a shit, and all that effort will be for nothing. So yeah, like programming. Yeah, there's definitely, I just consider it like mana, like creative energy or whatever. But yeah, it's not an unlimited supply. And the thing about writing, and maybe programming is the same way, when you are trying to force it, the reader can see. The reader is like, okay, this is forced. This fucking sucks, right? So it's not just you that feels it when it's forced. The reader feel like if you're forcing it, just don't even fucking do it. You know what I mean? Write about something else that you have some passion for and so forth. None of this can be forced. And one of the nice things about this project is I'm still very enthusiastic about this project. Like we're working on a shitty dream scene right now. But I'm like waking up in the morning like, all right, I get to go fucking write. Yeah. All right, so let's get back to it. I like a little bit of distraction, but I would love to, because if we finish this chapter, we're a quarter done with the project. This is chapter 25, and I have another 60 minutes to work on this. So I'm going to focus a little bit on just writing for a bit, and we'll try to make it fucking happen. I didn't realize we were going to completely rewrite this chapter, but it definitely needs it. Hmm. I may have had too much rum, but it's all true. Yes, Bathy is like a fucking IT genius there. He can definitely take his advice on worldly affairs. Not love affairs, though, but you know how it is. All right, what do we got here? Ahead, the road spiraled around a tall tower of stone. Grayson was at the summit. Behind her, Freya could hear it all coming apart. She was barely outrunning the collapse. As she made for the main entrance, a fissure opened up beneath her, and she pitched forward over the handlebars. Oh yeah, this is a terrible sentence. Mm-hmm. Please answer when you were free. Do you write from a central point and allow the story to sort of expand on its own, or do you follow a strict beginning to end structure? So yeah, in writing, we call people who plot, like follow, like they write down a plot, they do like character summaries and everything, and then they just basically follow that game plan that they have laid out. We call them plotters. And then there are writers who just sit down and just come up with shit and try to justify it all. We call those pantsers, like they're flying by the seat of their pants or whatever. I am not a plotter. All this shit is made up free form as I'm flying. The biggest thing that I enjoy in writing is finding out what happens next. Like, I really believe that if it is a surprise to me what happens, it's also going to be a surprise to readers. There's like an excitement when you're coming up with something just out of nowhere. That is the reason that I go out and do this all the time. Other people, that doesn't work for them at all. They can't get anything done if they don't have like a plan to follow. And they really produce two very different types of writing. I'm very drawn to the high peaks that you can get from somebody who is coming up with this on the fly. And just keep in mind, you can't expect like the same level of plot. You can't expect like a very rigid structure or for everything to make sense without a ton of work in editing. And that's part of why the editing that you see me doing is so much more extensive. It's not because I'm not experienced as a writer. It's, I mean, at least partly it's going to be because I could definitely stand to have more experience or more training or whatever. But a lot of it is just going to be all this shit was come up with in the fly. And I'm working on making something recognizable about it. And it's definitely it's a choice not to plot things out and to try to assemble it later. You make a ton more work for yourself. All right, so what do we have here? As she reached the base of... Mm. Okay, cool. So Spectiwa, so this is kind of interesting here. Plots are overrated. I've seen a plotter man trying to sell his great plots for decades and failing because it really is all about the packaging, the treatment, and the delivery. His dad, right there. Um, I guess so. I will tell you that there are different kinds of readers, right? Some readers love dialogue, right? Some readers like care so much about a plot and they just do not give a fuck about the language that's used at all. And these would be like your Grisham readers, you know, for the most part. Like shout out to Grisham. He's a very solid writer. Definitely his prose is significantly like tighter than mine is, but the language isn't like beautiful, right? There's nothing in it. There's no point reading one of those novels where I'm like, damn, that's fucking gorgeous, right? And people aren't reading those books for beautiful language, right? I think that there are some parts in the oh shit, Jubird has fiber internet. He can now watch this shit in higher than 160p. Congratulations to Jubird. Which, by the way, is not anti-Semitic. That is that chatter's name. So don't try to catch me on that one. Catch me on all the other terrible shit that I did. Hard R. But yeah, like that. I forget what the fuck I was talking about there, and I should really be editing. So let's see. Yeah, what have we made it like one page through the shit? We made it 2 pages through the rewrite. So he's a master at pacing and time. Yeah, I'm just saying. So yeah, like I was talking to somebody last night where she just cares that there's a good plot and that it's moving along. She doesn't really resonate much with characters, and she really does not like language. She likes exposition. And like she was talking about how when she and her best friends like talk about books, they're looking for totally different things. And the books that I really love, I think, are not plot based for the most part. The movies that I like, I don't really care too much about the plot. Like it's nice if it's there, but really what I'm looking for is sort of indelible moments that I can carry with me, like moments where because if you think about like a movie or something like that, you don't remember every detail of the plot. You remember those like shining moments where something happened and you're like, that's so cool or whatever there. Anyhow, what's a hard R? Rucus. Shout outs to the earthworm, wherever he is at. I'm sure that he's like split into a whole bunch of other worms by now. With that asexual reproduction. Across the teacher parking lot. But like I'm an author, and authors love the long edging jelk of well-crafted Oh yeah, we're like anybody who writes a fucking novel is just sucking their own dick for years. No, it's just pure autofellatio, and you hope that there are people who enjoy watching you suck your own dick. But for the most people do not. That's like about as close as I can get right there. All right, what do we have here? She bent low to leap her bike up onto the curb, and she felt the asphalt beneath her. Huh. She made it onto a plateau. Oh, yeah, like... Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ugh. All right, so okay. God. Da, 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 da. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Inside, The hall was empty. All the lockers were flung open, and a fine white span. Who the fuck is blogging at me? It's 8:30. Oh, okay. Okay, that was actually something important enough to bother me for. Hell yeah. How long have I got here? Okay, cool. Got another 50 minutes. All right, what do we got here? The hall was empty and flooded. All the lockers were flung open, and fine white sand was spilling out of them. The hall was empty and flooded. All the lockers were flung open, and fine white sand was spilling out of them. She sloshed forward in ankle-deep water as the static sound of crashing surf played from the intercom. Oh, what are the sides of the stage called? The wings? Stage terminology. Here we go. Fucking Pinterest. I fucking hate Pinterest so much. Because you have to log into their fucking bullshit, and they just pollute Google search with this whole thing. Proscenium. Alio left, Alio right. The apron, auditorium, cyclorama. Ooh, what is cyclorama? Oh, yeah, it's not fucking. I guess they seldom have like an actual cyclorama. Yeah, the wings is fine. Mm-hmm. Real talk. Mm-hmm. Let's see there. Fine white sand with spelling half of them. All the lockers are fine. Freya climbed the steps. Okay, so let's see. She had to warn everyone, to tell them it was all coming apart. The hall was empty and flooded. All the lockers were flung open. Okay, so one thing that we haven't been doing is showing that she wants to escape the dream. Like we just said, like she's trapped in the dream. But we don't. She doesn't attempt again to get out of it, which she should. Where should we have this? We had an opportunity there. Yeah, we just really haven't done anything with that. Mhm. Cool. And shout outs to her being in a rail shooter for the the duration of this dream right here. Oh, wild. I think I'm gonna bike to work today. What's the weather today? What's the weather today?
Here's the weather today.
Mm. Mm. So when I try to go home, it's gonna be about 50 degrees. Yeah, I should definitely bike to work today. Okay, so let's redo that. Freya had lost track of herself. She was rising to her feet, moving towards the door. It felt like she was being driven along on rails. All the decisions had already been made. Behind her, there was an avalanche roar as the parking lot and all the cars sloughed off and spilled into the sea. She dashed forward. A 100% chance of crunchy grooves. Jesus. She dashed through the door and slammed it behind her. She had to warn everyone, to tell them it was all coming apart. The hall was empty and flooded. All the lockers were flung open, and fine white sand was spilling out of them. I don't know why. I really like that image. She sloshed forward in ankle-deep water. Mm. Freya had to warn everyone, to tell them it was all coming apart. The hall was empty and flooded. All the lockers were flung open, and fine white sand was spilling out of them. It smelled like seawater. Looming underneath was a note of decay. Tidal decay. It smelled like seawater. Looming underneath was the stink of bleach and tidal decay. I don't know if we can get away with putting in the scent right here. I like that. It smelled like seawater. You know what I'm talking about there? Yeah, there's a very specific smell that the tide going out has, where all the little sea creatures are just dying on the sand. Hell yeah. Or if you've ever like brought seashells back somewhere and you didn't bleach them, just they will smell like fucking awful after a little bit there. She sloshed forward in ankle-deep water as a sound of crashing surf hissed from the school intercoms. The water was, Oh, shoutouts to Dark NES 2038 there. Uh, yeah, like wasting organic matter. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah, like yeah, wasting organic matter is good, but I don't think that it uh, can fit into that sentence. It's got a lot of words in it already there. Hell yeah, welcome to the stream. We are editing my 8th novel right here. And we have about 20 more minutes to try and finish this chapter. I don't know if we can do it. Fuck, why do I have to go to work, man? That's what I want to know. Why do I ever have to go to work? I just want to do this all goddamn day. She sloshed forward in ankle-deep water as the sound of crashing surf hissed from the school intercoms. The auditorium doors were open, and a stream was cascading down the audience steps like a waterfall. What do we call auditorium steps? And down the steps like a waterfall. Freya followed the current down the stairs. At the bottom, seawater was spilling into a whirlpool in the orchestra pit. The stage was aglow with boundary lights. She could see the shadows of the other performers in the wings. Freya climbed the steps, afraid she would get yelled at for tracking sand onto the stage. She took her place in the blocking. The spotlights came up, and Syria and Peter were there, dressed as Inez and Garcin. She looked down and she didn't have a costume. She was in her underwear. That's too... She looked down and realized she was naked. Her hand grasped her side. She'd lost the star ball. Hmm. Peter and Saria didn't seem to notice. Instead, they were staring at her, the air heavy with expectation. It was her line. Peter and Saria didn't seem to notice the water, or that she was trying to cover her nakedness with her hands. Instead, they were staring at her, the air heavy with expectation. It was her line. The crystal shattered, but I don't care. I'm just a hollow dummy. All that's left of me is the outside, Freya said. I think that's a little much right there. So is Freya a Garcia or a Lopez? He's fucking neither, meat. She's Finnish. Finnish. God. The crystal's shattered, but I don't care. I'm just a hollow dummy. All that's left of me is the outside. A recording of Freya's voice boomed down at them from the PA. Saria and Peter echoed it, chanting the line over the sound of the waterfall on the stairs. There was more to the line, but the acting was through. They had never taken their eyes off her. They wanted something. For a moment, she felt awkward and confused. There was more to the line, but the acting was through. They had never taken their eyes off her. They wanted something. Freya. The way Saria said her name was so heavy, like she was invoking a deity. but her voice was gone. She felt more exasperated than afraid. How could they not see what was going on? Again, she had the feeling that she had no agency here. Everything had been determined, and she was just following the choreography. Peter was kissing her breast, but his eyes were locked on Saria. The whole thing was an act for her benefit. Saria was staring up at Freya, hoping, imploring, but there was nothing there for her, nothing at all for any of them. They were all going to drown anyway. It didn't matter. Oh, yeah. So I like the idea of the orchestra continuing to play. Um, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. Music plays as the world sinks. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so fun. I fucking love it. And then we. Mm. Hmm. Okay, so I want to have a better spot for the star ball to pop up in here. Yes, getting your chain stripped. Yeah, bitch. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Mm-hmm. Mm. Is that how you spell paper mache? Oh my god. How the fuck? Do 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 do. Mm-hmm. Freya woke up. It was pitch black in her room and there was something wrong with her hand. She realized Freya shut her eyes tightly. She had Krav Maga class tonight. She was completely awake, exhausted, but not the slightest bit tired. It was like everything good had been scraped out of her, and all that was left behind was an empty skin. Why was she dreaming about Peter and Syria like that? She'd only had a glimpse of them in the auditorium. She hadn't spoken to either in months. She could remember it all so clearly, their hands tugging at her, that awful crash. The crystal is shattered. In the bedside light, she turned the star ball over and over in her palm. It was the same. She wondered if maybe she ought to seal it back up in the halves of the meteorite. Maybe then the dreams would stop. Computers would stop going haywire. She thought about the dream from last night, the meteorite all wrapped up in tape and the river overflowing with eels. Was it trying to warn her? To threaten her? She set the star ball back on the nightstand and stared at it. Can't you just talk? She whispered to the star ball, and of course it couldn't. She was having weird dreams. This was probably just the Lunestra withdrawal. It was a perfect logical explanation. Freya tried to tell herself she would get over it in a few days. But she didn't believe it. She didn't get over anything anymore. She turned off the light and stared at the shadows shifting on her ceiling. The echoes of the dreams clung to her like sharp bits of glass. Okay, cool. All right, so that's chapter 25. I am probably late for work. But I think we'll do a little redux on this last part. Like, potentially, we could just end the chapter. The house lights went out and Freya woke up. I'm not sure that this part adds a tremendous amount to it. Certainly, one of the things that we're going to want to do is we definitely want to have a divider break here, right? Just to further clue the reader in, like, hey, we're not on this fucking dream scene anymore. You can relax. Okay, yeah, I think we can get away with it if we just do that there. Let's pitch back in a room, blah 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 blah. Mm. There we go. I like that better. Frey. So that the crystal is shattered is actually a line from No Exit by our boy Sartre. Or Sart, or I can never remember how to say this fucker's name. Okay, so we went way late here, and I'm going to have to bicycle my ass off to get to work in time. But I think we did some good work today. Thank you for everybody involved in this. If you have not watched this before, just FYI, we do this every single day. I drink a bunch of coffee and get all spun out, and we work a little bit more on the chapter. We have now edited 25 of the 100 chapters in GRAVID. That means we're a quarter of the way through. It's fucking, but don't break out the champagne yet. One, because I'm on diet, and two, because we have a long way to go here. And it's going to get harder as it goes on. So thank you. If you enjoy the stream and you can think of anybody else who would enjoy it, I would love to get up to 100 subscribers on YouTube. Just search for Zach ZYZ on YouTube so I can get a custom URL and not have to link that long ass fucking piece of bullshit right there. Hell yeah. All right. Thank you all, and have a good night, and keep reaching for that rainbow, sailors. You can make it.